What biblical prophecies were fulfilled with the coming of Baha'u'llah? Some 2,000 years ago, the scribes and Pharisees missed seeing the coming of Christ, because even though he came as prophesied, he came in a way that was not expected. The same thing happened when he returned as Baha'u'llah, the glory of the Father. Even though Baha'u'llah came as prophesied, he did not come as expected. What's the difference between a prophecy and an expectation? Prophecies are the actual words written in Scripture, while an expectation is what one expects to see or hear based on one's interpretation of Scripture. False expectations are typically based on a literal interpretation of Scripture, that is, what one expects to see in the physical world with one's physical eye, or what one expects to hear with one's physical ears. Seeing and hearing in prophecy, though, refers to understanding. For example, when we use phrases like, "I see what you're saying," or "I hear you," we're acknowledging that we understand the meaning of what someone is saying. When the disciples asked Jesus why he spoke in parables, he explained, "I speak to them in parables because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand." Baha'u'llah wrote, "O servants, eyes are needed if one is to see, and ears if one is to hear. By this is not meant that bodily ear that is perceived by the eye. Open your inner eye, that ye may behold the celestial fire, and listen with the ear of inner understanding, that ye may hear the delightsome words of the Beloved." As the adherents of Jesus have never understood the hidden meaning of biblical prophecy, and as the signs which they and the leaders of their faith have expected have failed to appear, they therefore refuse to acknowledge even till now the truth of those manifestations of holiness that have since the days of Jesus been made manifest. This video explores the spiritual meaning of the biblical prophecies surrounding the return of Christ and the glory of his Father, as explained in the Bahá'í writings. What is the new name prophesied in the book of Revelation? Even though the New Testament says, in reference to the name Jesus Christ, "Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved," it nevertheless in the book of Revelation prophesied the naming of a new name. "He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth it." This new name is Baha'u'llah. It's an Arabic name that means the glory of God or the glory of the Lord, and it appears repeatedly in biblical prophecies. "And the glory of the Lord came into the house by the way of the gate whose prospect is toward the east. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it. The excellency of Carmel and Sharon, they shall see the glory of the Lord and the excellency of our God. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of God did lighten it." Baha'u'llah wrote, "This is the day which the pen of the Most High hath glorified in all the Holy Scriptures. There is no verse in them that doth not declare the glory of his holy name, and no book that doth not testify unto the loftiness of this most exalted theme. Were we to make mention of all that hath been revealed in these heavenly books and holy Scriptures concerning this revelation, this tablet would assume impossible dimensions. What are the clouds mentioned in biblical prophecy? Then they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. Baha'u'llah explains, It is evident that the changes brought about in every dispensation constitute the dark clouds that intervene between the eye of man's understanding and the divine luminary which shineth forth from the dayspring of the divine essence. Consider how men for generations have been blindly imitating their fathers, and have been trained according to such ways and manners as have been laid down by the dictates of their faith. Were these men therefore to discover suddenly that a man who had been living in their midst, who with respect to every human limitation hath been their equal, had arisen to abolish every established principle imposed by their faith, principles by which for centuries they have been disciplined, and every opposer and denier of which they have come to regard as infidel, profligate, and wicked, they would of a certainty be veiled and hindered from acknowledging his truth. Such things are as clouds that veil the eyes of those whose inner being hath not tasted detachment, nor drunk from the knowledge of God. Such men, when acquainted with these circumstances, become so veiled that without the least question they pronounce the manifestation of God an infidel, and sentence him to death. What is the Great Tribulation? But immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. The word tribulation comes from the Greek word thlipsis, and different Bible translations render the word differently. Words such as distress, suffering, trouble, affliction, misery, persecution, hard times, anguish, etc. In the Baha'i writings, this word is rendered as oppression. Baha'u'llah wrote, "As to the words immediately after the oppression of those days, they refer to a time when men shall become oppressed and afflicted, the time when the lingering traces of the Sun of Truth and the fruit of the tree of knowledge and wisdom will have vanished from the midst of men, when the reins of mankind will have fallen into the grasp of the foolish and ignorant, when the portals of divine unity and understanding, the essential and highest purpose in creation, will have been closed, when certain knowledge will have given way to idle fancy, and corruption will have usurped the station of righteousness. Such a condition as this is witnessed in this day, when the reins of every community have fallen into the grasp of foolish leaders who lead after their own whims and desire. On their tongue the mention of God hath become an empty name. In their midst His holy word a dead letter. Such is the sway of their desires that the lamp of conscience and reason hath been quenched in their hearts. And this, although the fingers of divine power have unlocked the portals of the knowledge of God, and the light of divine knowledge and heavenly grace hath illumined and inspired the essence of all created things in such wise that in each and every thing a door of knowledge hath been opened, and within every atom traces of the sun hath been made manifest. What oppression is greater than that which hath been recounted? What oppression is more grievous than that a soul seeking the truth and wishing to attain unto the knowledge of God should not know where to go for it and from whom to seek it? For opinions have sorely differed, and the ways unto the attainment of God have multiplied. This oppression is the essential feature of every revelation. Unless it cometh to pass, the Sun of Truth will not be made manifest. For the break of the morn of divine guidance must needs follow the darkness of the night of error. What does the sun darkening, the moon not giving its light, and the stars falling from heaven mean? If the divines, leaders of religion, be illumined by the light of the latter revelation, they will be acceptable unto God, and will shine with a light everlasting. Otherwise they will be declared as darkened, even though to outward seeming they be the leaders of men. inasmuch as belief and unbelief, guidance and error, felicity and misery, light and darkness, are all dependent upon the sanction of Him who is the day star of truth. It is evident and manifest to every discerning observer that even as the light of the star fadeth before the effulgent splendor of the sun, so doth the luminary of earthly knowledge, of wisdom and understanding, vanish into nothingness, when brought face to face with the resplendent glories of the Sun of Truth, the day star of divine enlightenment. That the term sun hath been applied to the leaders of religion is due to their lofty position, their fame and renown. Such are the universally recognized divines of every age, who speak with authority and whose fame is securely established. If they be in the likeness of the Sun of Truth, they will surely be accounted as the most exalted of all luminaries. Otherwise, they are to be recognized as the focal centers of hellish fire. What is the trumpet? They will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, and He will send His angels with a great sound of a trumpet. All praise be to Thee, for having enabled me to hearken to Thy call, for having honored me with Thy footsteps, and for having quickened my soul through the vitalizing fragrance of Thy day and the shrilling voice of Thy pen, a voice Thou didst ordain as Thy trumpet call amidst Thy people. We verily have sounded the trumpet, which is our most sublime pen. What is the rapture? Then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and thus we shall always be with the Lord. Some have interpreted this passage literally to mean that when Christ returns in the physical sky, descending upon a physical cloud, the true believers will be drawn physically up into the sky to meet Him physically in the air in an event that they call the rapture. To meet the Lord in the air, though, is a spiritual meeting, not a physical meeting. It is attaining His presence in the world of the Spirit, an experience that indeed overwhelms one with feelings of rapture. There is no paradise more wondrous for any soul than to be exposed to God's manifestation in His day, to hear His verses and believe in them, to attain His presence, which is not but presence of God, to sail upon the sea of the heavenly kingdom of His good pleasure, and to partake of the choice fruits of the paradise of His divine oneness. The hallowed beauty shone resplendent from behind the veil. How wondrous a thing! How wondrous indeed! And lo, the flame of rapture caused all souls to swoon away. How wondrous is this! How wondrous indeed! Rising up, they soared unto the blessed pavilion, neath the throne of heaven's canopy. How wondrous a mystery! How wondrous indeed! Free me from the assaults of passion and desire. Break off from me the shackles of this nether world. Draw me with rapture unto Thy supernal realm. O God, my God, these are Thy feeble servants. They are Thy loyal bondsmen and Thy handmaidens who have bowed themselves down before Thine exalted utterance and humbled themselves at Thy threshold of light, and borne witness unto Thy oneness through which the sun hath been made to shine in midday splendor. They have listened to the summons Thou didst raise from out Thy hidden realm, and with hearts quivering with love and rapture, they have responded to Thy call. Perchance Thou mayest become pure spirit. Attain, without taking a single step, the loftiest stations of mystic ascent, and explore without leaving Thine outward habitation the furthermost reaches of the world of inner significance. Thereupon wouldst Thou, with a divine rapture, experience true spiritual attraction. Lay down thy life in the path of the friend, and sacrifice thy soul in the wilderness of his love.